We are on our last day of the November 2020 Online International Fiber Festival. I am so glad that you stayed with us through the festival and have enjoyed getting to meet some of you on the Facebook groups and Ravelry group. I hope that you've had an enjoyable time and have really immersed yourself as much as possible while we are all still sort of stuck where we are. We can still be exploring the world. Thank goodness, thanks to the technology that we have available to us. I have a lot to get to today on our last day, but I want to welcome you all. We are in Portugal today, another country that I have not yet been to, but has been on my list for a long time, especially now that I've done the preparation for today and have met some of our vendors. So I'm going to go ahead and bring our vendors to you for now. We have 7. I hope that you are ready for this. Our first vendor is Clarissa Gomez. Clarissa designs knitting patterns for shawls and cowls. Her designs range across ability levels, so there's going to be something for everyone that you can find there. Her patterns also have features that appeal to different fashion sensibilities. Clarissa is offering 20% off her patterns to festival participants, so make sure you jot it down in the marketplace before you click through. Our next vendor is Korres de A Dollar is a maker with products ranging from hand-spun, hand-dyed yarns to felted items, Waldorf dolls, and knit items. These are a pair of crocheted gloves made by Dahlia, and I just want to show you how clever they are. You can see you have the thumb hole here. What I love about them is that I have kind of big hands. I'm a tall woman, and I have big hands and feet. And so when I took these out of the package, I was a little worried that they weren't going to fit me. But the wonderful thing about these is the stitch pattern really stretches when they're on. So it's one of those gifts. See how much more room I have in there? But at the same time, it fits beautifully. It's not too loose. So this is something, if you're unsure about size with someone that you need to gift something to, this would be a great option for you. So these are made of 100% wool that Dahlia dyed using onion skins. Isn't that an amazing color? Look at that. I love them. You guys know I'm always cold, so these are wonderful and appreciated. Dahlia is offering 15% in her shop. She finds joy in making, and it comes through in her work. All right, our next vendor is Philippa Carneiro. Philippa is a Portuguese knitting teacher and knitwear designer. As a teacher, she tries to empower her students with the confidence to progress in their knitting skills and transform their ideas into actual garments. Her designs are informed by her love of bold colors and vintage patterns. She is available for online classes and travels to teach courses, so be sure to follow the link in the marketplace to get in touch with her. Philippa very kindly put together a brief video that covers some of the basics of Portuguese knitting that you can watch in the afternoon activities and see if it's something that you want to pick up. You know how I feel by now. You should know how I feel about learning these different techniques of how to form the stitches when we're knitting. It helps us in different techniques, different types of knitting that we're doing work better with different techniques, can go quicker for us or easier for us, and it also helps us to avoid repetitive strain injury. So make sure that you watch that video with Philippa this afternoon and get a sense of if you're going to pick up and add Portuguese knitting to your knitter's handbook, to your knitter's toolbox. Philippa is offering a really awesome giveaway opportunity. It is an online class for 4 festival participants. That giveaway is going live today over on the festival Instagram feed. That is at OI Fiber Festival. Find it there, sign up. Now you're going to have to be patient and work with Philippa. There's going to be 4 winners. You're going to have to figure out a time when the 4 of you can meet with Philippa and have that online class. But what an amazing opportunity to continue your festival experience. So make sure that you head over to Instagram and get entered for that. Our next vendor is Fizzy Stitches. Fizzy Stitches creates heirloom quality goods for knitting, crochet, sewing, and more using precious materials and natural stones. I think that if you have a special crafter in your life and you're sort of trying to figure out how to do a special sort of gift for them this year, Fizzy Stitches is a shop that you should make sure that you pop into. I want to show you something that they sent me so you can see how it all works out when you order from them. This is the box that it came in. It has a little Fizzy cat. It's named after their cat, Fizzy. And you open it up and it has, nice little packaging there with the logo. This is actually a polishing cloth. It's wrapped up safely and packed in with it. And then the actual item is in here. And it's protected by felt. And you can open it up and see, this is my little sterling silver Portuguese knitting pin that Stephanie created. It's a little crab. And I'm going to pull him out, and you can see that there's a little progress keeper in here that came with him. And then matching the progress keeper, this is a Portuguese knitting pin, but it's magnetic instead of being a pin. So they put this little beaded handle on it, really, so I could separate it easier from the thing, which I thought was a very clever addition. But with Portuguese knitting, so we had Peruvian knitting as a class option several days ago, and with Peruvian knitting, the knitters run their yarn around their necks down to their hands. With Portuguese knitting, they use large safety pins or a Portuguese knitting pin to hold their yarn. So it would connect magnetically. I put the magnet on one side and the pin on the other side, and then I have a bit of yarn here. So if I was knitting, it would come up and it would go over one of his claws. There we go. And he would hold my yarn for me and I would do my knitting here. Isn't that just cute? And what I really like is he's actually got two claws. So if I was doing color work, I could try doing one over each of the claws instead of having two pins and doing my Portuguese knitting. And my little friend there would hold that for me as I go through. You can see as I reel off the yarn, it just slides through his arms there. Okay, so that's just one example of the many different tools that they have available to knitters who have everything, and so many of us do these days. So a great way to find a gift for someone who is a crafter on your list. Okay, I'm going to put that back in his special box because I'm going to use him later in one of the classes, and I want to remember where he is. Oh, sorry. So Fizzy Stitches, of course, you're going to find them in the marketplace. They are offering 10% off. That does exclude the yarn cutters and the buttons, but everything else 10% off. They also have a lifetime touch-up guarantee. If something happens, you can send it back to them, and they will spruce it back up to you and for you and send it back. Okay, our next company is a craft supply provider, and they have finished gift items. They are Folklore Crafts. Folklore Crafts celebrates the natural richness of Portuguese materials and know-how. They draw inspiration from Portugal's bold traditional costumes and also the rustic nature of their raw materials such as cork and burrell. Burrell is a wool felt. They have some items made from burrell, but they also have kits that include burrell. So this is a kit that actually includes the burrell and some cork. And it has instructions for how to embroider right directly on it. There's different kits on the website for different items that you can make with these. You can also order just the cork, just the burrell, to use in ways that you want to use it. They don't have to kill the cork tree to get the cork. They can peel off layers of the cork and it continues to grow. So it's a great sustainable material. It's like the wool of the tree world. They can take what they need and it continues to grow more, right? What I love about burrell is that it's actual wool felt. It's not plastic it's not acrylic, it's actual wool. And it's a good sturdy fabric for crafting. Oops, I lost my cork. I'll put that back in there. So you can find kits like this on the website, but they also have some finished items. So for instance, this is a cork coin purse, which I thought would be a genius way to keep your stitch markers in your knitting bag. So you can see you have quite a bit of room in there, and such a clever construction. There's no glue, there's no thread or anything holding this together. This is entirely made of cork. It closes just by having a strip of cork that goes over the tip there. Isn't that clever? And then they also have cork valets. Same idea. This would like sit on your shelf. You put your keys and phone or whatever in it. If you have a lot of stitch markers, you could have that all in there. But if you're doing cables, cable needles, whatever you're working on could go in here. And then you can see this isn't glued together at all. This is just constructed using slits and tabs to hold it together. It's brilliant. They have these in different sizes, so take a look at those. And now I have something I want to show you, and I think you're going to be really interested in it. They sell cork yarn. Cork yarn. So let me show you. This is what one little hank looks like. And I thought this would just be really, really smart for like crochet jewelry, little bracelet, necklace, put some wood beads on or some semi-precious stones and make yourself a little bit of jewelry with it. You could use it to make accents to different home things that you're making. You could like make a trivet type thing, like a pad to go on your table. It's not machine washable, but it is washable with like a damp cloth if you're careful with it. So just keep that in mind. But I was like, oh, that's really clever. What can I make with that? So I'm looking forward to experimenting with this myself and getting something on my needles. Probably gonna make myself a little necklace. That's probably what's going to happen. So Folklore actually has two shops. They have Folklore Crafts, which is where you get the kits and the yarn, and they have Folklore Gifts, which is where they have things like this that are the coin purse and the valet that are already put together. But you have 15% off in their shops. So make sure that you find the code and click through to get those. Okay, our next maker is Lisbon Mosaic Studios. Eileen McDonough creates mosaic tables and wall art using a variety of materials, including traditional Portuguese tiles, jewelry, iPhones, keys, sunglasses, and more. Her pieces are a sustainable and original way to add color and texture to your rooms. Eileen is offering a free 7-inch sardine with any purchase. Aren't they so cute? A little splash of color somewhere in your house. Love them. Finally, we have Termasta Azinha, which is a B&B. What do I mean by that? Well, Ellen and her team run a bed and breakfast and bathrobe company. They started off as a B&B and began offering custom-made bathrobes to their guests and allowed them to purchase them to take home as a souvenir. You can order your own bespoke robe from Ellen, made to measure in your favorite colors. Learn more about how to do that by finding them in the marketplace and clicking through. They are offering 2 codes. One code is for 40% off their mosaic style robe. The other code is for a free mask with purchase. And you can just have your robe and pretend you're enjoying the Portuguese sunshine. Wish we were there now. It's getting cold here. Okay, everybody, let's talk about our classes. Our first class option for today is actually 2 classes because together they are about as long as one of the other classes that we've been doing through the festival. The first one is Knit Faster with Portuguese Knitting with Andrea Wong, and the next class is Master Portuguese Knitting, Advanced Techniques in the Portuguese Style, also with Andrea Wong. So as I said, this is a way for you to learn the Portuguese style of knitting that runs the yarn through a pin or a safety pin at the shoulder rather than going around the neck. A lot of it is otherwise similar to Peruvian knitting. So if you had that class, this will feel familiar but not the same. So make sure that you check those out. And if you haven't had that class, now's your chance. The next one is taking the next step in our socks. So it is Knit Original toe-up socks with Donna Jakunis. So if you had that morning or that early on class on how to do toe-up socks, now's your chance to build on those skills. And the third recommended class is Embroidered Typography with Kristen Gulla. This is more of an intermediate level embroidery class. We all know Portugal and its embroidery, right? It's amazing. Build up those embroidery skills yourself as you take that class. After that, it is time for us to move on to the afternoon experiences. After we've had lunch, after we've had some exercise, come on back, spend the afternoon with us. The first video is from Lisbon Mosaics. Eileen shares several reveals as she is wiping the excess off of her mosaics. I find this to be just a very joyful video. I hope that you enjoy watching these reveals happen. Then we have a very special video from Philippa Carneiro. She actually goes through and demonstrates Portuguese knitting techniques for us. Now, as I said, there is that class early on, and maybe you're feeling kind of so-so about taking it. This is a perfect introduction. Philippa goes through and shows all the basics back to back in front of some really amazing scenery from Portugal. It'll give you an idea if it's something that you want to pursue. You want to pursue it. Okay, so look into that. If you're interested, remember that Philippa offers online classes as well. So after the festival, if you want to reach out to her and have some of that one-on-one instruction, it's there for you. She's there for you. After that, we have some Rick Steves videos on traveling in Portugal, including one that is a lecture on how to plan your trip and put something together with your eyes open and what you need to know as you're doing that. Then we have a few nature films, one from the Sintra area and the other from the Azores. After that, there is a really interesting documentary following some of the artists who live in Lisbon through their days and their making and stuff. And it's just a really fascinating look at modern life in Lisbon. Following that, we have a short documentary on fado. Fado is a musical style that is specific to Portugal. It's very chesty and emotional and beautiful, and I strongly recommend that you take it to get the history and background of the art, and I'll talk to you about that, why, in a moment. After all the videos are over, it's time for us to cook. We are going to be doing some cod cakes, some tomato rice, and aletria, which is a delicious Portuguese dessert that I hope that you take the time to make for yourself. It's the last day. Have the dessert. After dessert, it is time to settle in. We have a real treat tonight. We are going to have one last concert with a fado master. You do not want to miss this. She is incredible. I have watched this concert a few times now. It was actually filmed in Toronto. The singer's name is Marisa. She is just amazing. I think you're going to really, really enjoy it. And then that's the end, my friends. That's the end of the festival. I hope that you really had a good time. I hope that you took advantage of the learning opportunities and that you watched the documentaries and that you now have a list of places that you must visit, because what a wonderful world we live in, full of such fantastic people. It's been great to get to know you. I hope to see you again in May. We're going to do this one more time, and then it's going to become a yearly event, so we'll meet every May after that. If you would like to hear more from me, I do host a knitting podcast called I Thought I Knew How that you can find on YouTube or any of the podcasting apps, and I hope to hear from you in the future. Again, I hope to see you in May. Thank you to all the vendors. Thank you to everyone who answered my questions about your countries and communities, and yeah, thanks for being part of this, everyone. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.